Hi, everybody. I'm Dave Midgley. Alongside me is Hindi Jordan for this game number 2 of the Springbok Women's Journey at Rugby World Cup 2021, in brackets 2022. This is a game that South Africa needs to win, and they need to win with a bonus point. Coming unstuck against a much better French side, one that they really gave a solid contest to. This time it is the job of the Fijians to try and thwart the South Africans. Like I said, alongside me is Hindi Jordan. Hindi, how are you feeling?
Good morning, David, and good morning to all the listeners. I am pretty stoked that the South Africans are taking part in this Rugby World Cup this year. We missed the previous one, and having saying this, we've had a lot of development happen in terms of women's rugby in South Africa. I am pretty hopeful that we do win this match. This is the first time we've ever taken on Fiji, but we do know that the South Pacific nations play lots and lots of rugby, including all the women, and I'm hoping to see a very good result today. I'm hoping we do win this match like we did beat Japan in Japan last year, and that was a big shocker. That really did send some messages across the world that, South Africa are here to play solid rugby, and at the moment I can see that the national anthems are taking place.
South Africa's coach Stanley Rubbenheimer going with an unchanged starting 15, and maybe Hindi, you can give us some insights into the Springboks.
Alrighty, so today we've got a very solid, strong pack of forwards. I think his strategy today is we do need to win this match. So we've seen strong forwards such as Babalwa, who's played 18 tests for South Africa. She played rugby in Spain for a while, and that's where she also developed most of her game, and she has played sevens rugby as well. So she was one of the first Springbok players to bag a contract when SA Rugby was handing out contracts to ladies. And also we have Asizayele, which is an absolute fantastic, powerful number 8 from the Boerland. And then not forgetting your backline players which really do stand out, such as your Libby Janse van Rensburg, who is a fantastic number 10, and Kingsley Tyler, who's got quite a lot of experience as well from the Sharks. So we have quite a very experienced side if you look at the whole team. So if you look at Cindy Boy, she played in 2014 Rugby World Cup. That was the last one we went to, as well as the World Cup in 2010. So, yeah, we're looking quite solid today.
Yeah, Fiji, likewise, hoping to just upset the South African apple cart. You spoke about that victory in Japan. South Africa then going on to win at home against Spain. And then, that shows progress for the ladies in green and gold.
It does show a lot of progress for the women. We've really come a long way in terms of playing solid rugby. And the provincial structures are taking priority with women's rugby, with the Blue Bulls becoming the first team to go semi-pro. And proudly so to say that I do play for the Blue Bulls and I belong to that union. But not to blow anybody's trumpet. Today is about the ladies Springboks hopefully winning this match, and I do see it happening with a solid number of Springboks that are playing today in the starting lineup.
If you're listening from New Zealand, kia ora and welcome, because this is your Sunday afternoon. It is our Sunday morning, 7:15 in the morning for us, but 17:45, so just before 6 in Waikatere, New Zealand. It is a Italian referee with French assistants and an English TMO. So there is the full might of rugby on show for us today. And it is exactly what you want to see at a World Cup. The various nations coming through. You look at the women's rankings, Hindi. They're very different to what you would expect if you were finding this game for the first time, because the countries that are not traditionally there are certainly in the top 20. South Africa find themselves at number 11, whereas Fiji are 21st. But in between, there's Kazakhstan and the Netherlands and Samoa, which points to the fact that this game is growing rapidly in places traditionally not associated with rugby.
And that is just the thing. South Africa needs to, as a nation, I do feel that we do need to invest more in our women's rugby, given our men's Springbok team are known as the most dangerous and powerful animal. I like to call the Springboks, if you injure or you incur a Springbok, it becomes one of the most dangerous animals you will ever find. And that's we're just a machine. We're a rugby playing nation that love playing rugby. With that being said, I have seen some fantastic rugby players who have grown from varsity level all the way to Springbok level, such as Nadine Roos, who started her rugby career playing for Tuks University. She is a fantastic athlete, and also, if you look at her stats, you will actually see that she also went to the World CrossFit Games, and she is the Women's Rugby Player of the Year in South Africa. And with that being said, her accolades speak for themselves.
Absolutely. Right, the kickoff is underway. Clara Monarini, the Italian referee, blows a whistle. Janssen van Renze kicks it deep, and now Fiji on the front foot. They're playing left to right in their traditional black and white hoops, with the South Africans in their famous green and gold. Fiji looking to build things up at the back with Kavuru. Just over the South African halfway, between 10 and 22, there's a penalty advantage, and it is a knock-on by the Fijiana. South Africa on the back foot there early, Hindi, and now having to kind of reset, thankfully, due to that Fijian knock-on. But what a carry there from Aris Verebalavo in midfield.
Well, I can tell you this. The South Africans have got a very, very strong pack in terms of our scrum. Last week, they gave the French something to write home about. When they played the English team, the French had to really go and refine their scrumming technique and mechanism. And as you can see how solid that scrum was that has just taken place. And Asiza Yele breaking through the line, as we know that she always does. She's a solid number 8, and Kingsley taking the ball out.
Yeah, it's a great bit of work there from the South Africans at the back. Asiza Hele with a world-class performance last weekend, now showing her forte. It's still goalless, or scoreless rather, in the early minutes of this encounter. They're at Wakatere Stadium in Auckland, and so it's something that would perhaps be foreign because their last game was at Eden Park. Great break there from Hele. She gets away over the halfway line. Multiple tackles broken away. Now South Africa in support. Kinsey looking to go to the far side with numbers out wide, and it's not number that is on the receiving end of the ball. Bit of juggling there, but Janssen van Rensburg gets it back in once again. Mabenge in support as well. South Africa driving up towards the 22-meter line. Looking for options. Kinsey back inside. It's not a great pass, and it's a turnover by the Fijians. Now they're having to reconsolidate at the back, sending it through to the forwards, far side of the park, just over the 22-meter line. Referee Monarini happy with it. Kavuru again, right at the back of the ruck, deciding where she's going. There's a cross kick here into the vacant space, and it'll go out with a couple of bounces. And now there will be a line out as we welcome Otto Simon, the Ozmaster, to join us and enjoy the company of Hindi Jordan.
Good morning.
Good morning,
Just about, I'd say morning, Indy. Thank you very much for joining us today. We really appreciate it. There's a little bit of break in play now here on my side. Just get all my other stuff ready. I just stopped at my house here, so very happy to be with you guys.
And
Hindi,
you're
talk
in
us
your
through-
green and gold.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Hindi, talk us through Asiza Hele. I mean, she's had an absolute scream of the game. She's of a game last week, and she's already tackled twice and made a line break. I mean, her involvement at Boland is certainly a game changer for those at at the southern tip of South Africa's coast.
She is one of the best players South Africa has ever seen in terms of power and speed. I will not be surprised if she is signed by an international franchise, especially in the UK, where women's rugby is professional. I wouldn't be surprised if she's scooped up and she goes and plays a bit of club rugby with the likes of your Saracens and your Bears, because she's just power, precision, speed. If you put her at number 12, she's excellent. If you put her at number 8, which is her position where she thrives in terms of being a link between your backline and your forwards, she is one of those players that will deliver results and will always break the line. In terms of support, should women's rugby go professional in this country, I think she should be one of the players that get a full-time contract, because I see her playing in at least 2 more World Cups, because she's got the power in her.
Absolutely. Skew throw there by Gwala, and that means a Fijian scrum. Good bit of work there from both sides. A breakaway now in the middle of the park. Fiji over the 22-meter line. Donu, she's got some space. She hands it off, and South Africa have conceded. Davoea is over the try line for the Fijians. Within 5 minutes, it's 5-0. Oh, no. It was a great bit of break there from Donu, and all she had to do was hand it over to her number 7, Davoea, and the Fijians are on the board.
Fijians may be on the board, but it's still an early game at the moment. The South Africans just need to realize where their shortfalls are and work on that defense line, because the South Africans, we are known for our physicality. We are tackling machines, and it just needs to come through over here on this game in particular. And also, given the fact that we've never faced Fiji or had a friendly against Fiji in the 15th setup, that may play a factor. So basically, the girls have been prepared for this match, but not in terms of how the Fijians sort of play. And it's just one of those games of expect the unexpected. But I do hope that the next couple of tries are South African tries.
Right, Munirini's going upstairs. She's having a word with there might be a forward pass there between Roku Ono and handing it off to Donu. But right, she's overturned it. No try. So the Englishman behind the TV is the one who's dictated play. So Hindi, you've spoken about whether it'll be the South Africans that get first or get back on the board quickly. They might actually be the first on the board. So we'll have to go back for the forward pass. Scrum time in the middle of the park, just inside of the South African 10-meter line, and it'll be a green feed. Stanley Robenheimer, South Africa's
coach.
Look
at how solid that scrum is.
Absolutely. We'll be proud of that. Kinsey plays for the South Sea Sharks. 22 tests, 44 points, 2 tries, 14 conversions, and 2 penalty goals. So no mug with her contribution with the boot. But South Africa have just come out here and decided this is our game.
Exactly.
Just a small error there for the Fijians that caused that. But what a scrum from the Springboks. Absolutely wheeling completely through 90, and they'll get a penalty advantage. You can see the jubilation on the faces of the South Africans. They came here to show the Pacific Islanders that this is not their game. It will be all the Springboks. Libby Janssen van Rensburg pulled off early in the game against France, really not finding touch in that game, but today finds touch just between halfway and the 10-meter line of the Fijians. It's a cool day in Waikatere in Auckland, North Island of New Zealand. Just 16 degrees and the wind is blowing, so you know it's a tough one out there. Lindelwa Gwala making sure she throws this one straight. She was guilty of it last time. Looks better, is it? Yes, and there will be a maul for the South Africans. South African packs, world famous for the maul. Right, everybody get involved, and as we drive over the 10-meter line, Fiji with Matarugu trying to come in through the side. I don't know how legal that is, but South Africa still have the ball, and eventually it comes down. There's a turnover as Razolia has the ball for the Fijians. Going out now to Kavuru. In midfield, there's a bit of a fumble, and so South Africa have the opportunity to push that rush defense that they're so well known for. Rokuono. Again, the handling errors are costing the Fijians valuable momentum. Kavuru again. Now the South Africans are working hard here, and Rus absolutely just chucks Kavuru out there. Good bit of physicality, and they'll go back for the penalty advantage. Deliberate knockdown there from the South African, from the South Africans, and so that's why we will have a. Oh, they're going to go upstairs now, but we're just going to have a check there. Munarini is conversing for the second time in this game with her English TMO, that of Ian Tempest. Just having a look to see. Maybe there's something to be concerned about, something to worry about, something to maybe overturn a decision. There was initially a decision there with the turnover. And Munarini is just having a look at that interaction there between South Africa's, or rather, the Fijian number 15, Radini Yavuni, maybe that's the correct pronunciation. You'll just have to correct me there. Tweet us at OneWorldSR and find us on Facebook as well. And you'll be able to see every single thought that you have shared. Right now, she's calling over number 5. 14? Right, 14. Goodness, this was a lot more complicated than it needed to be. Just having a word with Nolo Sindiso Boy, DHL Western Province player, but she's also a captain for today. And it looks like Nomawetu Mabenge is not coming right. She's been sent off 10 minutes, and the Fijians will have a penalty inside their own 10-meter line. This one goes out just over halfway, and so they'll have the feed to the line out on the far side of the park. South Africa now with 14 players on the field. The throw not finding its intended target. Matarugu not able to find the intended catcher. Kinsey now looking for somebody to drag this ball forward. Good bit of support from the South Africans. Kinsey again right at the back. South Africa through their hands near side of the park. Number, special as she is, working hard to try and find a way through the Fijian defense, but they just are dominating here. In defense are the Fijians. Oh, dummy throw there from Libby Janssen van Rensburg. Kinsey again at the back. Can she find somebody? Roos has joined in. Running out wide. Tried to hand it off to the number 7 for South Africa, Gacholwa, and they've managed to knock it back. And the Fijians not running away there, so a penalty at the 9-minute mark. South Africa got lucky there. I truly thought that it may have been a knock-on there by the South Africans, but Fiji guilty of not rolling away. And Janssen van Rensburg has a moment just to exhale and kick this one into touch on the far side of the park. 0 points each side. South Africa is a side with talent and experience that you won't find many other places. I mean, South Africa's very own Zane Jordan will become the most player when she comes on today. Good bit of work there in the lineup. South Africa throwing it through their hands. Hele in the middle of the park. Brought down, but she's got a lot of support at ruck time. Janssen van Rensburg in some space. She breaks away one, breaks away two. There's a throw out wide. Can Number get on the end of it? Oh, I think she may have knocked it on there, but Fiji cleaning up things there. And it looks like South Africa have caused a maul here. Breakaway at the back from the Fijians. And that's a knock on. So the first one coming from the South Africans, then from the Fijians. And so it will be a scrum inside the 22-meter line. But great bit of work there from Libby Janssen van Rensburg. Handing it off once, handing it off twice. And Number wasn't able to get on the end of it. And so as a result, South Africa knocking that ball on. And then the Fijians had the advantage and then they knocked it on. And so scrum now, near side of the park, about 10 meters in from the near side touchline. South Africa playing right to left, Fiji left to right.
Yes, indeed. So defensive scrum here for Fiji. Number 8 picks it up at the back and breaks to the open side. And that is handed off to one of the backline players now over the 22, up to the 10-meter line. The number 13 goes for Fiji, picked up by the right wing. Into the forwards they go, and a heavy tackle on the 50-meter line, on the 10-meter line of Fiji, as they go across the park to the far side. Number 10 now for Fiji, hands it off, and there's almost a line break there. The Fijians keeping the ball alive very nicely. South Africa running out of defenders on the far side, and Namba with the tackle on the number 11, just outside the 22 of South Africa. Now South Africa have control of the ball in the ruck here, and it's Kinsey, the number 9 for South Africa, passing it out to the loose head prop. Once again, there's ruck on the far side of the field, just outside the 22 of South Africa, and it goes to Ruiz, 15, Nadine Ruiz, and she kicks it to the far side. It's not out. The left wing is Delaiwau for Fiji, sets the ruck on the far side of the field. Good defense by South Africa. Fiji spreading the ball to the middle of the park, now coming to the near side here. Good offload just before contact by Fiji. The right wing, Sokoiwasa, takes it up to the 22 in the middle of the park, and Fiji take it through the hands once again. A ruck in the middle of the park, and they go to the far side. There's numbers aplenty here for Fiji, and it will be Daiwasau, I think the number 11, who scores for Fiji on the far side of the park with 13 minutes gone. Fiji lead by 5 points to 0.
This one, I think, will be no problem for referee Munarini. Delewaihu completing a great team move there. It was coast-to-coast type of stuff. The South Africans valiantly tackling, but it was a great bit of running there. The handoff from the Fijians there, certainly putting the South Africans to sleep. Number with a valiant tackle right in the corner there. Otu, nearly a saving tackle there. But in the end, the Fijians... as well. So close there, but the Fijians too good with their ball control, and that means that they go over for their try. The first one.
What happened to that first try?
Overturned forward pass.
Okay, all right, I missed that part. So it will be Lavena Kavuru, the number 9 for Fiji, with the attempted conversion. The left foot, she lines it up on the far side of the park, comes forward, strikes it now, and it sails through the Auckland air, through the uprights, and they convert their first try. Fiji lead by 7 points to 0 with 14 minutes or so gone. Now this is typical Fijian rugby. The ball never gets to spend much time on the ground, and making sure that the players are in support, and South Africa having no answer in defense out wide. Yes, indeed, 14 and a half minutes gone. Janse van Rensburg with the kickoff. She goes to the middle of the park, and it is brought to the near side here. Fiji cross their own 22. The ruck is set on the near side here to the middle of the park. They go through the hands of the forward, straight into the hands of the back line now. And a good tackle there behind the 22, but Fiji keep the ball alive once again on the far side. Good defense here by South Africa. Van Rensburg tries to steal the ball there, and offside call as player not retreating, tackles number 9, and Fiji immediately tap and go, and they're over the halfway line now in the hands of the number 15. Nadine Ruiz tries to steal the ball, but it's an advantage to Fiji, and there's a call for an early tackle by the referee. It looks like 15 and a half minutes gone now. Tackling the player without the ball is the call there. 7 points to 0, Fiji lead in Auckland.
Yeah, and Nguevo is the guilty party there. She's just hands on her knees, and sauntering away, skulking away. She knows she's been slightly too late with that one.
So the penalty kick is sent over the far side touchline, and the line out is set for South Africa on the 22, on their own 22. And Mabenge has 90 seconds left of her yellow card, costing South Africa 7 points so far. Fiji with the line out throw in the middle. They go in the middle of the line out. The maul is set now by Fiji, and they creeping over the 22. They have some really solid forward players here. Do Fiji. The ball is in control at the back, and the Fijians go over the 22 now. Rumbling up is the number 12 for Fiji. Libby Janse van Rensburg clutching onto that ball, but it's called a tackle, and Fiji go into the middle of the park. Good defense here by South Africa, trying to hold the players up. They go to ground now, 20 meters from the far side touchline, inside the 22 of South Africa, and there is a call by the referee that South Africa will be penalized once again, I think, because there was a knock-on by Fiji, and they're being called back. 17 minutes gone. 7 points to 0, Fiji lead, and they have a penalty inside the 22 on the far side of the field.
Hindi, you've got to imagine that the teams have to clean up with their penalties.
I'm very, very disappointed in terms of discipline, because we are a disciplined nation. We do play very disciplined rugby. We just need to watch our deliberate knock-ons as well as our tackles. I'm noticing a couple of our tackles are a bit high, very risky, and I'm just hoping that we drop our tackles. And because of the discipline, we keep on having to go back. We're giving away 3 points. When looking at both teams at the moment, I would not say that Fiji is the best side today. It's just that they are capitalizing on our mistakes. We really need to, shake it up a bit, South Africa.
Meanwhile, South Africa concede another penalty. Several phases for Fiji. Good defense by South Africa, but there's another penalty to Fiji, and now a warning to the captain by the referee saying no more. Just as the first yellow card is about to return to the field, there's a team warning. And yes, indeed, Hindi, it's a bit scrappy by South Africa. Fiji spread it wide to the far side. There's numbers here for Fiji, but they knock it on just with the open try line, and it is a relief for South Africa. 18 and a half minutes gone, 7 points to 0, Fiji lead. They knock the ball on with an open try line in front of them, and Nadine Roos, the final defender, wouldn't have been able to stop that move. It's a defensive scrum for South Africa, about 15 meters from the far side touchline and 10 meters from their own goal line. Mabenge, the number 14 for South Africa, returns to the field.
And thank goodness she returns to the field. That overlap, the Fijians were capitalizing on the fact that there was one less extra player, especially when they kept on playing towards their wings. And as you can see, Asiza Hele breaks through, because that scrum, again, is a very low, powerful scrum. The South African women tend to go as low as possible and get under any other of their opponents, especially the front row players. They can go very, very low. The law is basically, with most women's rugby teams, is 3 centimeters off the ground. Your knees need to be 3 centimeters off the ground, and you need to find that power to push and drive forward.
Good pick up at the back here by South Africa, rumbling forward up to the 22. They go. Breaking tackles is the number 8 for South Africa. She's finally brought down just outside the 22 of South Africa, but there's a knock on as she tries to deliver the ball to one of her teammates, and it's a scrum to Fiji in the middle of the park, just outside the South African 22. What a run here.
You almost imagine that if the South Africans are able to keep their discipline, keep ball in hand, that's when you'll find the kind of the fruit of the tree somewhat, in that way. Sorry, I went down a path.
And have you... Yeah, and you should actually just see the control that the girls have on that scrum. It's unbelievable how the front row, the second row where your locks are and your and your number 6 and 7 are holding that scrum and holding your front row, the power that it takes, and as well as your 8th man to control that ball, to give the back line enough time to scan and see where they're going to send the ball. That is absolutely amazing. And the footwork by Aziza. And I may sound like I'm like the biggest fan of Aziza Hele, but have you seen how she controls the ball as a number 8 at the back of that scrum?
Yeah.
While the scrum moves, that ball also moves. And we have not lost a scrum to this minute. I've not seen the Fijians out scrum us, although they've got a heavier pack than South Africa. The South Africans have got full body control basically.
So a few phases there by Fiji inside the 22, and South Africa managed to get the turnover, a relieving kick clearing their lines, and Fiji will have a line out on the far side of the field, just about 10 meters outside the South African 22. They will have the put in. It will be Matarugu to throw, and she goes to the back of the line out. Fiji take the ball up to the 22. There's a bit of broken play now. Good defense by South Africa, trying to turn the ball over, and they've done it. The number 6 for South Africa has control. Janus van Rensburg to the far side they go, and they brought down just outside the 22. Van Rensburg had scrum off once again, and a good storming run down the middle of the park by South Africa. And Coach Dave, take us forward, please.
It's an absolutely great bit of work there from the Springboks. They're dominating this game when they have ball in hand. When they retain ball in hand, they're not allowing anybody to do their plans a misdeed. Kicked right deep into the Fijian half here. Now they're under pressure because there's Springboks all over them. How are they going to get out of their own 22-meter line? There's a bit of fumbling there from Sokoi Wasa inside her own 22 in the middle of the park, and that will be a scrum once again. So the South Africans will be licking their chops, saying, yes, keep knocking the ball on, because every time we're in the scrum, you are going to go backwards. Great bit of work there from the South Africans to put pressure on that kick.
It's the absolute pressure of having a very strong pack, and I think we've scrum more than we've actually had ball in hand, and we've got quite a lot of breakthroughs. And again, I'd just like to see the ball go to the back line and see some actual gameplay of the wings giving us some good action, because we've got some speedsters on our team, and I'm still waiting yet to see what Nadine Roos can bring to the squad today.
Ngwevu and Pupa in the midfield.
Absolutely. We could just name for hours on end. Right, Kinsey has now the opportunity to feed the scrum. Taps the prop on the head and says, let's go. Hele, out the back. She goes to the far side. Hand off one, hand off another. Brought down 15 meters short. Kinsey now looking at some options. Is she going to go with Gwala? She goes to the blind side. Again, South Africa tackling or being tackled just shy of that 5-meter mark. Right, Hele looking for the pick and go. There's somebody trying to get their hands in there, and the referee says, hey, stay out there. South Africa pushing hard with their forwards. Kinsey now at the back. Does she go to a forward? She doesn't. She relies on her forwards she does go to the forward, but she doesn't manage to pick the right one, as there's no release. And the Fijians, Kavuru, on the way. Tap and go, and there's speed out wide for the Fijians. South Africa through Mabenge, having to offer some cover defense. Kinsey tackling there, but not able to get position. Now Fiji with space out wide. South Africa working hard on that rush defense. There's a bit of fumble, and it's out. My goodness me, that ball changed hands and switched around. Wilson at outside center. What a bit of work from her. Magic.
Yeah, it's once again just small mistakes by South Africa and losing meters upon meters of field position, where Fiji just pour forward and they just keep the ball alive. And at the moment, South Africa are a little bit their own worst enemy.
Yeah, we are, like I said, Fiji is capitalizing on our mistakes that we are making. And I think we just need to focus a bit more on how we are getting the ball out and responding to each other. And basically, it comes back to communication.
Munarini saying that, yes, the ball may have gone out, but it will be a scrum. About 15, 20 meters inside of the near side touchline. South Africa's side of halfway, but only by a meter at the very best. 26 minutes on the clock. And the Fijians lead South Africa 7 points to 0. Kinsey at the back, looking for some options. South Africa with the hands. Mpupa in midfield. Support in numbers. Kinsey, will she go to the blind side? She does. With Rus, some space. She's brought down in the middle of the park by Rokuono. Kinsey again, near side of the park this time. Going with a forward, trying to power through. But boy, oh boy, is she smashed in midfield. What a tackle by the flanker Davoea. South Africa looking for that pick and go, trying to dominate with their forwards here, and Fiji are penalized for not rolling away, and South Africa will have a penalty. Will they go for the corner? The guilty party, Sesenieli Donu.
They do go for the line out.
It doesn't go out. And so Fiji are now on the forward. On the way forward. Handover by Razulia. Great bit of work there. South Africa, there's no one home on the near side of the park. Fiji fumbling, so allowing them to get back in. Soko Wasea. She's been swamped there by Mkachulwa. Great bit of tackling here by the South Africans. Bang! Right in the middle of the park. What a smash there from Nolusindiso boy. South Africa skipper not messing around here. Continuing to try and find a way forward. Donu. Kavuru. Oh, there was so nearly a way through for the Fijians. Razulia brought down. Just over her 10-meter line. The Fijians looking to play their traditional running rugby. Don't hang on to the ball for too long. Again, Wilson. Soko Waisia. Radivunyai. South Africa having to frantically defend. Chase the game is essentially what they're having to do here. Midfield. Stolen by Hele. Is there going to be a knock-on? Referee says play on. Kinsey now with the ball, just over halfway. Phase after phase. South Africa, can they retain the ball? Through the midfield. Kicked away from Janssen van Rensburg. Is she able to find some space with no one home? She does, but Fiji clean up inside their own half. Thrown out wide, and immediately Wilson is swamped by a South African. Number is on her, like green on a Springbok jersey. Kavuru switching it up, trying to come to the near side. Bang again, the South Africans hammering in midfield. No real forward momentum for the Fijians. Now Donu, looking to see where she can go. This game is enterprising. Delewau, brought down by Janssen van Rensburg. Play on, says the referee. Oh, no. The moment she changed the tap and go from Kavuru. Referee not holding on and saying, wait, come on, let's give everybody the opportunity. Razulia, pick and go from the Fijians. Over the South African 10-meter line. Kavuru again, tries to kick through. And South Africa now have the possession. Rus runs into her own forward there. Lacha in the way. Kinsey, again, South Africa favoring that right wing. Opportunity now for Mabenge. She breaks away one, breaks away two. She gets over the halfway line. Can she break away from the third? She isn't. Does she have support from her teammates? Kinsey, near side of the park. Far side of the park, rather. Coming towards the near side of the park. South Africa again storming over the halfway line with Lacha and Gwala. Kinsey, again inside. Van Rensburg. South Africa away. This is a good bit of work from Ngwevu. Pick and go. South Africa in midfield, just shy of the Fijian 10-meter line. Janssen van Rensburg acting as the number 9. Sending it to her forwards, hopefully getting some breakthrough. 6th phase now for the Springboks as we head towards the half-hour mark. Pick and go, and what a bit of work there. South Africa just lobbing it up to a forward. Kinsey again, and the referee saying she's not released. And so at the half-hour mark, it's 7-0 to the Fijians. good bit of work there, but undone by the ill discipline in the end.
Apologies, our scorecard is wrong. I've just fixed it. Sorry about that. And it'll update soon. Fiji have the penalty in the middle of the park. And once again, just a breakdown by South Africans' own doing in their attack with a penalty while on attack, taking the wind out of the sails. But we see some great defensive work by South Africa, showing glimpses of what they can do on attack, but just not managing to finish it off. So Fiji will have a line out on the near side of the park, just inside South Africa's half. There's a break in play now, as there's a bit of a water break or a tactical break, and there's a substitution on the cards as well. 7-0 Fiji lead, 30.5 minutes gone in the first half.
Yeah, Kavuru is going to make her way off the park, and Kolora Lomani is her replacement.
Okay, so Lomani is the number 9 replacement. Some stonking runs by both teams, and good defense by South Africa, but Fiji staying well away from the set pieces there for long periods at a time. Even though they're getting the penalties, they tap and go, and that seems to be the type of rugby that they prefer at 15s as well as at 7s. Obviously, as rugby fans, we know Fiji very well from the 7 circuit, both the men and women. But in 15s, the men have sort of made some inroads in the 15s, and Fiji struggled in their first game, as did South Africa. So we were looking forward to this one as maybe a more evenly matched contest, and so far it does look that way. And as you pointed out, Indy, Fiji just capitalizing on mistakes, doing a better job of turning defense into attack at the moment. So we're just about ready to go. There's another player down now. So we'll keep you up to date.
So the South African
coming on for Kinsey. Sorry, carry on.
Kingsley's down, and Unati from Border, South Africa's current provincial champions, who have been champions for the last 3 years, who beat Western Province this year at the interprovincial
Fiji with the line out, skew throw, and a scrum to South Africa. Sorry, Indy, carry on.
So basically your 2 strongest franchises this year were, again, Western Province and Border, and number 3 were the Blue Bulls. And you'll also notice that most of the Springbok ladies come from these 3 unions, having seen that the Springbok captain herself plays for Western Province, and we have got a line out. No, we don't. We've got a quick tap.
Number 21 is throwing the ball in for South Africa at the back of the scrum towards Janssen van Rensburg with a switch inside for who is that? Gwevu, I think. Ngwevu. Good stonking run by her up to the middle of the park onto the 10-meter line. The ball now goes wide to the far side. There's space for Mabenge. Is there just running out of space there and over the touchline on the far side. She just made it into the 22. Fiji throw quickly, and they are brought down inside their own 22, 20 meters from the far side touchline. No fear here by the Fijians. They need to keep the ball alive. They know they can't match South Africa in the set pieces at the moment. The ball goes back to the back line, and this one is just kicked downfield by Fiji. Nadine Roos will clean it up just outside the 22. Now she's got some space and support on either side. She comes to the near side of the park, into the hands of Van Rensburg, out to Number. She's got some space now as well. Just couldn't evade the final tackler. And once again, Fiji using the touchline as the defender, and they have a line out 10 meters outside their own 22 on the near side of the field. Oh, if somebody could just get that inside pass from Number there, She ran into the lock, the number 4 for Fiji, Serevi, who made a good cover tackle there, and Namba just tried to bump her off. That was quite ambitious by Namba. She's about half the size of Serevi. 34 minutes gone, 7 points to 0. Fiji with the line out, they go to the middle. And it's skew once again by Fiji. So it's a scrum to South Africa in a very good attacking position. Now the South Africans need to capitalize on that mistake. I don't have the name of the number 21 player for South Africa. Can somebody help me out there? That's the new scrum half. Tose is the new scrum half.
Unami from Border. Yeah, Unam from Border.
Yes.
Got a very good scrum half. She's got quick hands and quick feet on her. Also very, very dangerous if you do give her the opportunity to break away and score a quick try.
One of my favorite hairstyles.
So she has the ball, and the scrum is set on the 15-meter line, about 10 meters outside the 22. The ball goes into the scrum now. Good scrum by both teams. At the back is the ball, and it goes to Ngwevu, to Ruiz on the wraparound. Mabenge out wide. Does she have enough space? This time she beats one tackle. She's held up just about 20 meters from the try line. The ball is recycled by South Africa into the midfield. They go rumbling forward. 10 meters out now. Janse van Rensburg into the hands of some forwards in the middle of the park. Good ball retention here by South Africa. Fiji not interested in the rucks at the moment. Tose goes to the far side. Good catch there. And Mpupa has the ball now, rumbling forward. There's lots of space here for Mpupa. She goes underneath the poles. 5 points to South Africa. What a try.
What a beautiful try from Nzinhle Mpepa. Oh my greatness. This lady has been signed for the Exterior Chiefs in the UK. She is also playing international rugby at the moment. So she's not home with the rest of us. She was called back to join the Springbok team in August when Springbok camp started in preparation for the World Cup. Let's just see if Libby Janse van Rensburg from the Blue Bulls and Tuks can get it over to make it 7-all.
Great bit of work
yes,
there
indeed.
from the Springboks. It could so nearly have gone sideways because that low throw there and great catch. And then the follow-up in terms of the work there by Mpupa, and all she had was acres of space. And South Africa not missing out there.
Janse van Rensburg had to reset the ball there. She comes forward and strikes it now. And it is indeed raising the flag, 7-all between Fiji and South Africa with about 3 minutes to play in the first half. What a smile on the face of Mpupa there. She goes over for the try. The number 13 for South Africa, picking that ball up in just outside the 22. Big gaps for Fiji. There was a player down outside the area of play. So the referee allowed play to continue, and South Africa pouncing there. 2.5 minutes to go, 7-all in the first half. The kick from Fiji goes to the near side of the park. Good clean up there after it was knocked back into the hands of South Africa's number 7. I think they go to the middle of the park now, do South Africa, where Tose sends it to Ngwevu, who sends it out to Mabenge on the far side, on the right wing. She steps inside. She's got support there. Fiji trying to disrupt, but South Africa retained the ball. Van Rensburg into the hands of the forwards. It goes over the 22, and it's left behind by South Africa, picked up by Fiji's number 5. Fiji have it at the back of the ruck now. Rosalia going forward, rumbling into the middle of the park, 10 meters outside the 22. They come to the near side of the park here. Fiji, the number 12 held up there. Just outside the 22, to the middle of the park they go. Rosalia into the hands of more of the forwards, and it's very scrappy here by Fiji. Almost a knock on, 3 or 4 almost knock-ons there. This time they go to the far side of the park, and the cover defense needs to make it work here for South Africa. And Fiji magically keep the ball alive, and finally they are brought down here. Fiji about 15 meters out of the South African try line. To the Sarevi they go, the number 4. The number 5 has it now, rumbling it up, but behind the gain line, all of this action on the far side of the park inside the Springbok 22. Now Fiji rumbling up once again into the hands of the big number 3, Rosalia, who's going to bring her down. Nobody seems to be interested. She's 1 meter away from the South African try line in the middle of the park. Fiji hot on attack here, and it will be number 14 over the line for Fiji. That is Akanisi Sokoi Wasa, who has Fiji's second try and her first try of this match. And with the kick to come, that will be the end of the first half. Should be an easy kick. It was jotted down about 15 meters from the near side touchline by Fiji. And wow, do they pounce. And when they pounce quickly. So easy for them to make up the meters.
They play front foot rugby. They constantly on the go, and when playing a team that plays front foot rugby, you need to have your defense line as solid as possible. No tackles have to go unmade and unmissed. And South Africa, being a very, very physical team, should be making every single one of those tackles. I know that we are pressing forward and we are making our hits, but they are finding the gaps in every single opportunity. Like you mentioned earlier, the Fijians play quick front foot running ball sort of rugby, and we have seen it in this first half. But I'm hopeful that within the change room at halftime, we do work on our mistakes and go back a stronger side in terms of our discipline, as well as getting our tackles in. Every single tackle counts, and communication is vital for us to win this match.
From your lips to God's ears, as Fiji make the conversion through the boot of their number 9, Kavuru, and halftime sees South Africa 7. And Fiji leading with 14 points. So during the halftime break, we can, before we share some thoughts, just to remind you, you can support us, One World SR, on Twitter, patreon.com/One World SR for One World Sports Radio, and then, of course, on YouTube and Facebook, One World Sports Radio. Senzo Dico on YouTube says, "Go ladies, you can win this one." And strongs to them. I do agree with that. What do you think, Indy and Dave?
Look, we can win this match. I've seen the ladies play excellent rugby when they went on tour throughout Europe. We saw great strides last year when they played against the English. The English are known to where we should be in the green. It's within that team that has been chosen this week to win that match. And going back to one of the points and the facts of today, the two highest scoring players, Zane Jordan, who has had the most caps in the green and gold, and Libby Jantje van Rensburg, will be the first Springbok players to score 100 points for their country today. And both Zane and Libby are sitting at 98 points. So hopefully both of them will make 100 points today to make history in South African rugby, actually women's rugby rather.
Absolutely wonderful performance from both sides. South Africa slightly the more ill-disciplined between the two sides, and Fiji dominating this first half with the way in which they play the rugby. So don't go away. We'll be back very shortly, and we'll give you the latest in our wonderful podcasts. You can find them wherever you find podcasts, but if you want to see the faces of the podcast gang, you can find it on YouTube. Most importantly, ding the bell and you'll know exactly when we go live.
Thank you.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Cheap Seats. This is your weekly Premier League show. My name is Mpo. I've got Dean, I've got AB. We talk all things happening in the Premier League. This week was a little bit of a slow week because Nottingham Forest didn't fire their coach. They actually gave him an extension. And then they decided to fire the scout and everyone else. So it was a little bit weird, but they brought 22 players in, so that's another story. But I think the big story that has Premier League situation or Premier League links to it is the Kylian Mbappe story. So I thought we'd lead with that. But we're also going to talk about Liverpool and how this derby with Manchester City has now become more of a damn squib. You know, from one of the most sought after games in the world to being a, oh Lord, how much are they? Classic Shirts ZA. And this week's shirt of the week, to remind you that we're going into the World Cup. We got a team that's hoping to be world champions once more. Brazil's 2022 World Cup kit. The blue one looks like a lizard. But the home one, I like the little, the little collar there, the victory collar for all you golfers, the Tiger Woods-esque collar. And yeah, look, I don't know if the Sellers are going to win the World Cup, but they'll be looking pretty good. James, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, is that Jaguar print on the blue one? Yes. Is that what it's supposed to be? I mean, it's interesting, but I mean, you can't go wrong with a classic yellow, green trim Brazil kit. Like, it's just, that is the GOAT. So, be interesting.
Look,
it'll be interesting to see Richarlison in it, my boy. Now I can support Brazil.
Well, the question is whether Martinelli or Antony are going to be wearing it. So I think with Brazil's World Cup selections, it's going to probably come down to whether Martinelli or Antony are going to go to the World Cup. So it's going to be dependent on how it happens. Obviously, I don't want the other Gabriel to go our centre back. I think he'd rather just chill on the beach in Dubai. But hey,
they all go to Brazil.
Do you know what the worst? Do you know what the worst thing about this week was, right? Trent got injured in the derby that Arsenal won, top of the log, well done. Woo-hoo. But the other thing was, Reece James also got injured. And then all of a sudden, everyone's like, who's going to start at right back for England? And I was like, don't say it. Ben White. Oh.
He plays well on the right, though, to be fair. So
he's gotten better. Like at the start of the season, he didn't want to. He was so afraid to go around and help Saka like with those little passes around behind him to kind of stretch the defense. But he's look, we're gonna talk about FPL, but look, he's a good FPL thing, and he's pushed Tomiyasu to the left. So that's another story for another day.
Look, guys, it must be so nice to like have international players in your team.
Well, you do. Casemiro, you've got Fred, you're benching them. You've
Ronaldo.
got, you know,
all the
Mr. 700. Okay, cool. Let's get into it. This week we woke up on Monday or sometime on Monday, we were at work and we found out that Kylian Mbappe told Paris Saint-Germain that actually, I want out. This is 6 months after him signing up to be their general manager. I don't know, player manager type of vibe. And supposedly they didn't promise him, they didn't fulfill the promises that he done. And I'm like, but dude, it's not even 6 months yet. It's like 3. And you're wanting out. So he wants out. So now this is like the Kevin Durant trade in the NBA. When a player like this goes, you now try to figure out how the hell you're going to get him. Doesn't matter who you are, even if you're Kaiser Chiefs, you need to figure out a package for Kylian Mbappe to bring him here to South Africa. But I was thinking, wait, hold up. But the Premier League is the richest league in the world. He's watching Erling Haaland tear it up in this league, and he must be like, ooh, that's another Farmers League. Maybe I should go and join. So my question to you guys is, what do you do? So in the top 6, he can fit anywhere. But which is the most likely club in the top 6 to go to Paris and be like, here's a package for you, Kylian, come over?
I mean, that is United all over.
No.
All over. That is let's get the fans back. Let's do what we need. Mbappe, our boy, he's probably going to come out and say I've supported United since I was young, and become one of their players. But I also heard that there's rumors of like a Salah swap with Liverpool, which maybe, but realistically, for me, I think everyone looks at his PSG situation and goes, I don't want someone like that in my changing room.
But Dean, here's the thing. Here's the thing, right? Regardless of whether this is a guy, I think he's 24 or 20. I don't know how old he is. Like 23. Still a young guy. He may be a prima donna, but he can help you compete in this league. And so I was sitting there going, wait, there's a dumpster fire team. There's a team that can handle this type of player. And to me, if Todd Bowley isn't in Paris right now trying to sell Christian Pulisic to PSG, it's a problem. Because here's the thing, right? Mbappe doesn't want to play the number 9. He wants to play the 10, right? So you can have Aubameyang up front. You can have Mbappe in the middle. You can even send Kai Havertz to Paris. That's where dreams go to die. Kai Havertz hasn't done well. Send him to Paris, you know? No, but this makes because Chelsea are in a situation where they're trying to go young, so try to get rid of the oldies. You can even send Thiago Silva back. I'm sure they take him. And so for me, like look, I'd love him at Arsenal, but I don't want to break up, as you say, Dean. I don't want to break up that whole thing that Arteta's gone.
Aubameyang says Arteta can't handle big personalities, so
that's one of the reasons why I don't want him there. But if he ever said I want to go to Arsenal, best believe I am selling my future. Well, I'm giving them Martinelli and I'm bringing Mbappe in with a whole lot of cash. But I look at Chelsea and I'm like, because I look at Man City, I'm like, okay, Man City, they don't need to be too desperate because they've got this guy, this robot.
You've already got one of the 2 next greatest players that we're going to see. So,
but it's for me, AB, it's Chelsea, it's Manchester United, and to a certain extent, if Tottenham could do it, I would do it.
I don't think he doesn't. He won't come to Tottenham. There's been jokes where people have said, "Oh, Mbappe, you want to go to Tottenham?" and he's come out and said, "Thanks, but no thanks." So I don't want a player at my club that is already saying I'm above you before he's probably even knows how to get to the stadium. So if Tottenham make that move, no thanks. But I hear what you're saying. I think the Chelsea move probably makes a whole lot more sense now that you talk about it with the Todd Bowley situation. But I also think Newcastle could be, well, I know a lot of people are saying Newcastle because of the money that they have to sort of splash at someone like that. But whether they will or can, I don't know. I don't think so.
No, but okay. So, AB, if you look at Liverpool, if you look at Mbappe, right? Mbappe needs a place to kind of sit until Real Madrid say, we've got the money to bring you on, right? Wouldn't a Newcastle be a good enough option? Because I know obviously you can't go for the top 6, but Newcastle will pay him his ridiculous wages. Yeah. Newcastle will make it would be a waste for a footballing fan, but it would be so great for the Newcastle faithful to have this guy on a rental.
So, on a rental, my goodness. What about Barca pulling another lever somewhere? Surely there's a lever.
No. No.
Guys.
There's got to be a lever somewhere.
There is a lever.
But AB, why don't you want him at Manchester United? He sells shirts. He's Ballon d'Or. Like, you'll have a Ballon d'Or winner. Send Martial.
The problem is that like this is such a Man United target for that board. Like they're just thinking, how are we going to replace Ronaldo? Like, how are we going to make Ronaldo happy? And this guy's right there. So I can see United going and throwing 100+ mil.
I don't think it's going to be 100. I think it might be 250.
I can see United doing this because the Glazers are the Glazers. They want a star. He's young, so and to fight that Terminator down the road, this guy, he's like
He's the closest thing.
He's also a Terminator.
Yeah.
He's like a quick Terminator. He's not a strong Terminator. But he's like the Terminator 3 version. But she was a lady, so I don't know.
Welcome back to the One World Sports Radio broadcast of this game number 2 for the Springbok Ladies at Rugby World Cup 2021 in brackets 2022. My name is David Midgley. Alongside me for the next 40 minutes, Otto, the Ozmaster Simon, and Hindi Jordan. Don't forget, you can join us live every single time there's a broadcast, but all you have to do, ding the bell, subscribe, and join us when we go live. We bring you cricket, we bring you football podcasts, we bring you rugby, we bring you cricketing podcasts. There's everything to, quench your thirst when it comes to sport. But we are bringing you women's rugby at the World Cup live. And so this game between South Africa and Fiji, not going quite to the plan of what the South Africans would have wanted, but certainly Stanley Robbenheimer would have had a hard word with these ladies at halftime. Mangaliso George Daka saying, go, South Africa, go. South Africa will be playing left to right, the Fijians right to left. The Fijians leading 2-1, and South Africa need the bonus point win here so that they can stay alive in this competition. A tough group, a group of death, you may suspect, because both world number 1 and world number 4 in South Africa's group. But South Africa pulling a performance for the ages last weekend, staying in contention for this game. Hopefully they can find the victory. Rokuono kicks off middle of the park and finds South Africa's Ngwevu just up to the 10-meter line. Tose with the ball in hand finds Janse van Rensburg, who hands it off to Lacha. Middle of the park. Tose again to van Rensburg, looking to go to that far side. It's a penalty advantage for the Fijians. Turnover ball. South Africa being told to wait but a moment. Rosalia having an incredible game. Good bit of work. Oh, and it pops out on the side of the South Africans, so it'll be a knock-on from the South Africans' Fijian scrum. South Africa, up to this point, have been dominating the scrum. And so, as a result, they'll continue their domination, you would expect. Boertes coming on for Gwala for the South African change in hooker. And so, Ndebela Gwala can go happy with her time out there on the park. Rosalind Boertes, able replacement, plays for DHL Western Province. 6 tests to her name, and she has 2 tries as well. So a couple of movements there from the back of the maul. South Africa now on the defenses. Fiji make their way forward. They've got some support in that of Delewao. She's now at the back of the ruck. Webb for South Africa. Eloise Webb coming on for Number on that left-hand touchline. Nevertheless, Fiji trying to break forward with Ofa Kimalino. And a bit of argy-bargy there, as the South Africans will have to go back for the initial offside. Fiji looking to try and take it quickly, but referee just says, hold on a moment. We're not ready yet. But now Fiji take the opportunity and they're going to kick for poles. So good bit of work there from the Fijians to put pressure on the Springboks. No, she's decided against it. Tap and go from the Fijians. 15 meters out from the try line. Ball going to the far side of the park. Fiji keeping it alive through Ofa Kimalino. Good bit of work there from Lomani. It's rather Kavuru who's still on the park. Maybe there's a replacement there. Pick and go from the Fijians. They're 2 meters out short. Rosalia. Good bit of work from her. Vere Balavo. Still 3 meters short for the Fijians. They're trying to take it from the back of the ruck and rumble up forward. Fiji again. Held up short there. Now 4 meters. Ofa Kimalino playing her part here. Vere Balavo looking to get the front rowers to pick and go. And the referee says the South Africans are offside there. 5 meters out. Certainly you would expect the tap and go to come. Right. Referee just says Asezahele was offside there. And 10 penalties conceded by the Springboks means that they've been having to work a lot harder than they should. Good movement here by the Fijians. They've gone somewhat backwards there. Hele getting the penalty for the South Africans. Coming in from the side from the Fijians. And so South Africa are able to take a sigh of relief as they clear their lines. Janse van Rensburg inside her own 22 will kick for the far side touchline. Hopefully she gets this one into touch. She does, and so Fiji aren't able to take the quick one. It was a great bit of work there from Asezahele as Kavuru was brought down. Immediately on top of it were the Springboks to turn that ball over, and it'll be a line out on the far side of the park. Remember that South Africa playing left to right, Fiji right to left. And with a new hooker on the park, can South Africa dominate things? Bottas. I spoke too soon. Referee's not happy. Everybody's coming together too soon. So there might be a retake here for Rosaline Bottas. On the far side of the park, between 10 meters and 22 of the South African half. Monarini making sure technicalities are not allowed to slip away. Looking for the jumper. South Africa finding Boy. Handing it off there. Good bit of work there from the Fijians in the ruck time, but not able to steal the ball away from the South Africans. Springboks moving forward with Bottas and Tose. Wide ball now. Ruas in support. Near side of the park. Taking it upon herself is Mabenge at the back of the ruck. Again, Mabenge working hard there. Tose at the back. Fifth phase now for the Springboks. Getting over that advantage line. Tose working hard with her forwards in combination. Screaming is Serevi to set up some defensive work there. Janse van Rensburg taking it up. Turnover ball. No, the Springboks have some space. Hard work there. They're not able to get forward momentum. Tose again. Ninth phase now for the Springboks. Making their way, crawling up to that 10-meter line. Penalty advantage, and the referee blows a whistle. So Clara Monarini, the Italian, saying we're going to go upstairs. Just have a look at the decision there. Maybe she's not happy with something. It looks like
looking for a high tackle by Fiji.
Dangerous tackle. I would actually blow that as a dangerous tackle for our referee. But let's just see what the box says upstairs. And ill discipline. There we go. Ill discipline. When you're under pressure, this is a tense to happen when you're under pressure, but also captain needs to have a chat with the girls and also keep a cool head. We still have time. We've got 34 minutes to play, and hopefully we can get some tries over the line and also ball on boot for Libby Janse van Rensburg and a couple of tries. That's what I'm really hoping for, because it would be really sad if the Springbok ladies were to lose this match against Fiji, because clearly we can see that this is a proper match and a proper matchup in terms of skills. It's just the simple mistakes and the ball fumbling which the ladies cannot be proud of.
So South Africa penalised there for a neck roll. Bottas, Rosaline Bottas, number 16, on the park for South Africa with the dangerous clean out there. 46 minutes gone, and it's a scrum to Fiji now, as I think they made a mess of that penalty. No, it was a knock on by South Africa, excuse me. So I'm not entirely sure how we got to this point. Lost my feed a little bit there. So Fiji with the put into the scrum. Solid scrum by both teams. And the ball comes to the near side of the park with another sweeping backline move. Over the 22 they go. 5 meters from the near side touchline, just inside the 22 of South Africa. Now to the middle of the park go Fiji with their number 8 storming forward, losing the ball in contact. Tose with the ball to the loose head prop for South Africa in the middle of the park. Fiji trying to spoil possession, but they concede a penalty, going off their feet. And a quick tap this time by South Africa with Janse van Rensburg. Inside ball to the number 8 for South Africa, brought down just inside the Fijian half. Good control of the ball there by South Africa, and it's a penalty advantage to them. And the referee stops the game. She calls over one of the Fijian ladies to hand out a yellow card. And we'll see what the sign is there, probably for a dangerous tackle.
Hands in the ruck. Possibly
hands in the ruck
as well. There was already a warning earlier in this game from Clara Munarini. I think she's just had enough.
Yeah, I completely agree. I've just seen zero tolerance from all the referees this tournament for the World Cup. Yesterday we saw Australia, both hookers getting yellow carded, and in fact one hooker got a red card because that was her second yellow card of the match. So it's completely zero tolerance, and the refs are taking the rule book very seriously.
Change
so
now
South Africa
as,
have yeah, go for it, Dave.
Yeah, there was a quick change there as Emma Adi Vitaloga made her way on the park for the flanker position for the Fijians.
Oh, and it's another skew throw, this time by South Africa. Skew throw in the line out scrum to Fiji. As Lola Bulavakarua says, Fiji all the way. Thank you so much, Lola, for listening, and apologies for our horrid pronunciation of the Fijian ladies' names. It is a bit tough because we don't get to see them play that often. So I just had a thought myself that I'd rather call out the numbers because so few of us know these ladies really well. 14 points to 7 with 49 minutes just about gone in the match.
Guess what I'm doing after this match? I'm going to go find every single one of them on Instagram so I can just follow them and just see the progression of their growth and see what they are doing down under.
It's a good turnover.
And the South Africans turning over the ball.
Go for it, David.
She's had an absolute blinder in this game. She tries to pick and go again. She got some running rugby earlier. Now with the South Africans up to the 10-meter line. Torse directing traffic at the back. She sends it now across the line of South Africans. Through the hands of Janse van der Rensburg. She's got Eloise Webb in support. Will the South Africans be able to retain possession? They won't. It's a great bit of work there at the breakdown from Donu. Tap and go from the Fijians. South Africa is caught at 6s and 7s. Good bit of work from the Fijians. Running out of space there is Delewao. But she's able to bring back inside. Is it a maul from the South Africans? No, it isn't. Trying to steal it at the back there is Radiana Yavanu. Vuni? Sorry. Like Otto said. Right. Pick and go from the number 15. Ball changing directions, going out to the far side. With some space is Davoea. Can she find her way through the South Africans? Nobody else wants to tackle. Only Kachulwa able to get away. Right. Rosalia on her bike, and away she goes. Up to the 22-meter line. South Africa struggling to tackle her. 6th phase now for the Fijians. Somebody's down on the near side, Kavuru, but Fiji carry on. Out wide is Delewao. She's got some space. Can she hand it off? She tries to head it off to Adi Vitaloga, but not able to get it away. Number 15 brought down 6 meters short of the try line. There's nobody covering at blind spot for the South Africans, but Fiji not recognizing the opportunity there. Kavuru back on her feet once again. She goes to the near side, looking for Adi Vitaloga. 8th phase now, 4 meters short. Kavuru to a quick pick and go, and Fiji are over the line. It was a great bit of work Matarugu just had all the acres of space there. Nobody from South Africa was home to cut her off. Fiji go up another 5 points. It's her first try at Rugby World Cup 2021. But boy, oh boy, did she have no one to stop her there. Jordan trying to cut things off, but not able to do so. And Fiji lead. Their lead extends even further.
Yeah,
So,
19 points to 7 with the kick to come as Ilimo Sakasaka on YouTube says, let's go Fiji. Thank you so much for listening. And we hope you're enjoying our commentary, our digital audio commentary here.
Well, I must give it to Fiji. These ladies, once they get the ball, they run onto the ball, and you can actually see, especially with your front row players, they're much bigger players, and the bigger the player, the harder they are to take down. And if you tackle their legs, they're not going anywhere. And the mistake the South Africans are making is that they are not tackling low, and the girls will run you over. The Fijians, they are powerful when they've got the ball in hand. So
I was thinking the same thing. They just need to keep passing the ball to Rosalia, the tight head prop for Fiji. She is a big lady, and she has the athletics to complement her physique as well. And she is proving almost impossible to stop 3 or 4 South African defenders hanging on to her coattails every time she gets the ball. And it takes about at least 2 people hanging onto her legs to get her down. And now we see the TMO making a decision here. And that try has been disallowed. Phew!
Wow, no try.
So there was some foul play or some illegal play just before, in a few phases before that try. And so we'll have a penalty scrum here to South Africa. Could only be a penalty. Oh no, it's a scrum for a knock-on. So there must have been a knock-on behind the ruck, very close to the line there, right in the middle of the field, about 8 meters from the South African try line. And Ilimo Sakasaka again saying, come on Fiji, thank you so much for your comments coming through on YouTube. We do enjoy hearing from you. And today you are the 4th commentator, because we are joined by one of our local lady rugby players, Hindi Jordan. Thank you, Hindi, for joining us. And it's a scrum to South Africa. Tose with the put-in. And the scrum is set. The scrum is stable. And it's a good, solid scrum by both teams. Jordan on the field now with the wide ball to the far side. Libby, that's Nadine Ruiz on the far side in the back line, getting brought down just short of the 22 on the far side of the field, inside the 22 of South Africa. Tose out to the midfield, rumbling up goes South Africa's captain, I think, there, number 5, and Tose, the number 9, out to Libby Janse van Rensburg, who sends this one with the right boot sailing over the far side touchline. I thought I saw Jordan on the field there, but we'll confirm that for you.
Yeah, Jordan is on the field. The question is, who's she on the field for?
Okay, let's see. They're showing us the substitutions now. And so I think that Jordan replaced Mpupa, and Webb, number 23, replaced Ngwevu.
Number 12.
Ngwevu, sorry, 12 and 13, yeah. So I don't know why that was done. There might have been a problem with those 2 players, because they were 2 of the best players that we have on the field. The line out by Fiji is 1, and they are disrupted a little bit, but that would be a deliberate knockdown, says the referee, as the replacement prop came breaking through there for South Africa, knocking the ball down, and it's a penalty to Fiji. Just inside the 10-meter line of South Africa, 7 meters in from the far side touchline. This time the ball was knocked away from the Fijians, so they couldn't take a quick tap, and they are forced to go to the set piece, as they will kick this ball to the far side touchline, and over it goes for a line out to Fiji. Now that's a bit clumsy work there. I thought that might have been knocked in the tackle, but as it was, the pass was intercepted by that knockdown. So lucky to still be on the field. I think some referees are quite harsh on that. Fiji with the line-out throw taken by the replacement flank, number 20, and the maul is set. A good stop there at first by South Africa. Let's see what the referee says. The maul is crawling over to the far side, and now the number 2 breaks free. Number 7 for South Africa holding her up along with number 8. And Fiji have control of the ball. Into the back line it goes now. Number 12 is stopped. Well short of the try line there. Fiji going back towards the South African 22, and Nadine Roos almost with the intercept, but the number 11 for Fiji controls it. She throws it wildly over her shoulder, and it needs to be cleaned up now by Fiji. And Janse van Rensburg over the ball there, the number 10 for South Africa, and she wins the penalty for holding on the near side of the field, 5 meters in from the near side touchline, just outside South Africa's 22. 56 minutes gone now. Fiji lead 14-7 with 14 players on the field. And South Africa's Janse van Rensburg, the number 10, will have the penalty kick here. She seems to have found her kicking boots, which were missing last week. With the left foot, she just sends the straight AFL-style kick over the near side touchline, and it is Bottas, the number 16, the replacement hooker for South Africa, Rosaline Bottas, with the ball. She will be throwing it in just outside the 10-meter line of South Africa, and the referee not happy with the line-out set up here by Fiji and South Africa, asking the players to keep the gap in the middle. And South Africa changing their numbers now. 5 players in the line-out. Stolen by Fiji, tapped back, and picked up by the number 11, slapped back by the number 2. This is what Fiji like. Now tightened up there by the number 5. The number 9 tries to break to the blind side, but into the hands of the big number 3 goes the ball. But this time she's tackled quickly before she gets to go. The ball goes down the back line now, behind the advantage line for Fiji on the far side of the field. They're back on their own 22 now. The ball going wild throw after wild throw, backwards and backwards still. And South Africa get the turnover. And it's Torse now, the number 9, sniping forward over the 22. She goes. She's got support there. And the number 17, the replacement prop for South Africa, rumbling it up. South Africa have control of the ball. Torse, number 9 for South Africa, replacement into the hands of the number 10, Libby Janse van Rensburg. Now this time South Africa scrambling behind the advantage line, and the support is there to control the ball. Nadine Roos has her hands on it, but it's rumbled up by the forwards. Pick and go. Going forward now, South Africa managed to clean out the Fijian defenders, although it looks like Fiji might have turned this over. No, says the referee, it's a penalty to South Africa. Quick tap this time by South Africa. They're over 22 in the middle of the park. The number 3 goes down, 20 meters short of the try line. 17 takes it forward. Torse this time passing it out to Jordan in the number 22 jersey at center. Libby Janse van Rensburg, the number 10, is there. Torse, replacement number 9, is in attendance. The ball goes into the hands of the forwards in the middle of the park, into the 5-meter area. Ball is knocked back into the hands of the replacement prop for South Africa. She dives forward short of the try line, and it's the number 8 diving over the line, and it's a try to South Africa right under the posts. 59 minutes gone, and this will be an easy conversion, but the score now 14 points to 12 to Fiji. Aseza Hele, the number 8 for South Africa, with the try under the sticks. What a rumbling play there by South Africa, playing to their strengths for a change.
Playing to their strength. It was a bit scrappy. I was a bit worried, but the law is if you can touch it, you can catch it. And we saw that also from our prop also playing a running rugby. And it's not every single day that you see a prop that comes in and doesn't intercept. It simply goes to show that ball hand skills, we are quite skilled as a South African nation to get that ball over, and I'm very, very proud of Aseza Hele for her first try in a Rugby World Cup tournament. Well done, ladies. And also it's a team effort full round. We saw 5 phases of good solid rugby, as well as you saw Unam breaking through the line, also a very, very dangerous little scrum half, and also the experience by Babalwa carrying the ball forward where she saw that she could make a difference, although she didn't have much support around her this South Africans rushed up behind her to seal and support the ball to make sure that both Libby and Unam could get the ball out to the South Africans waiting to attack and get onto the line. And I'm not taking anything away from Fiji. Good and well done on your tackling skills. I could see that the discipline was there to try stop the South Africans. But obviously there was just that little sneak over by Caesar.
14 points all, and 60 minutes gone. The next 10 minutes will be courtesy of David Midgley at Coach Dave 93, is it, on Twitter?
That's correct. Yep.
That's correct. So Fiji will have the kickoff, and it's all square, 14 points all in Auckland.
Waikatere Stadium is buzzing with an island Pacific nation and South Africa equally matched, as we see one of the Fijians making her way off the park there. Doesn't look too
crestfallen.
Doesn't look too healthy. Yeah, I
She
don't know if
looks
it's just not
absolutely
happy or
crestfallen.
injured. Yeah, held together. Looks like how I wrap my Christmas gifts, just held together by tape in every direction.
That was a very hard
There
ball
by
to
the
catch.
grace of.
Yeah, it bounced. It just went right through. It happens. But let's just be hopeful that doesn't happen again.
We're still waiting for the kickoff on the streaming side of things. Take it away, Coach Dave.
Right, Kavuru high into the air for the South Africans to try and catch. It's a knock-on by the Springboks just outside their own 22, and the referee Monarini says, no, come on. Right, change as well for the Fijians.
Am I saying that right? Kachulwa was the one who knocked it on.
Yes, Kachulwa. Vasu
and
Turaga on the park now. She replaces the number 1, Vere Balavo. And Nalmasi as well, coming on from Delau.
There's another short
Maria.
break in play here.
Just making our substitutions on our team sheets, just making sure that we keep up to date with the correct changes.
Thank you.
For me, Tosa's got the best hairstyle. I mean, look at that. That's the way to go.
Ratu Dabea says, Toso Viti Toso, you can do this, girls. Another Fijian supporter joining us on YouTube. Thank you so much for listening.
You're a rugby player doesn't mean that you're not supposed to be kicked.
Vika Matarugu, also making her way off the park, and she's replaced by Bitila Tawake. So Fiji
as we
doing
wait for
the
a
most,
restart, we've got a couple of players down, and we've got Lorato from the Blue Bulls on the field.
Are you still at the Bulls there, Indy?
Just a small delay in play here. We will get
and I'm just it's going to be a very stressful 20 minutes for both Fiji and South Africa, because we both want to play. Yeah, I am still at the Bulls. I'm very proud of.
I think
That's nice.
Just a small delay. Right, South Africa having to defend their own 22-meter line here. They're continuously working hard, are the Springboks at scrum time here. They've dominated for a lot of this game at scrum time, but now the feed from Kavuru to the back of the scrum it goes. Pick and go there from Naisewa. Freedom for the Fijians to make their way forward, but they aren't able to retain possession, and there will be a South African put into the line-out. Good bit of work there from Nadine Roos, just to kind of cover her bases. Good bit of work there as well, making sure she put pressure, rush defense for the Fijians. Tried the skillful hands there, rather. Not able to do so. So South Africa will have to put in to their own lineout. That's a horror from the Springboks. Ofa Kimalino collecting at the back. She's 4 meters short. Can South Africa turn possession over here? Rosalia trying to go, but South Africa are told to take a deep breath and wait because referee Clara Munarini just saying, yeah, everybody take a deep breath, and there will be a tap and go. You can almost expect that Kavuru will tap this and send it to Ofa Kimalino. She doesn't. She goes with Vaso Turaga. 2 meters short. Pick and go option. They don't go with that. They go with the number 12, Donu, and she's knocked it on. So South Africa now will have the advantage inside their own 5 meter. Tose with a handoff to the South Africans, and she breaks away. My word, that was a great bit of work from Gachulwa. They retain possession. Give some space for Janse van Rensburg to get away. She thumps this downfield, doesn't find touch, and so now Fiji make their way forward. Just over the 10-meter line. Throws it out wide to some support players on the near side of the park. Fiji are guilty there, and so South Africa will have a penalty just over their 10-meter line. It's a poor bit of work there from the Fijians. Emma Adi Vitaloga, the guilty party in that instance.
Lorosio Bavudi on YouTube saying Vinaka Viti girls. Some Fijiana supporters joining us. Where are the Springbok Ladies supporters on YouTube? We need some balance on the comments. We know that we are firmly skewed in South Africa's favor, but at least we have the YouTube Fijiana supporters as a counterbalance to that. So South Africa with a scrum just outside their own 10-meter line. 63 minutes gone, 14 points all.
Yeah, 15, 20 meters in from the touchline. Tose just waiting for the call from referee Munarini. She gets it there. Tap, and in we go. South Africa with a scrum that's absolutely dominating the Fijians. They're struggling here. They're buckling are the Fijians. Here we go. Jordan in the middle of the park. The South Africans with a handling error, which means that Janse van Rensburg just turns and slinks away because drop catch. And your cricket team would say to you, your cricket commentary team would say catches win matches. And in this instance, that could have been a great bit of forward momentum. She knows she's erred there. And just a wry, sheepish smile.
Now, I hope these Fijian supporters aren't swearing at us on our YouTube feed. But it does seem to be positive. So let's go with it.
Toso Viti Toso.
Ilimo Saka Saka Toso Viti Toso.
Fijian fans in New Zealand, we're seeing some images of fans clad in the wonderful colors of the Fijian flag. Ravisa is on for Wilson, so change there now for the Fijians. Scrum time, feed coming from Kavuru. Through the hands go the Fijians. Through the hands, quite literally, as this one is found with nobody at home. Fiji on the halfway line, trying to get forward momentum here. Good bit of work there from Kavuru. She's had an absolutely incredible game. She's worked tirelessly, has Kavuru here. She's been the one who's had to kind of drive things. She goes again. South Africa not finding a way to turn the ball over just yet, but Fiji not exactly getting some forward momentum that they would have liked. Smash tackle in the middle of the park. Vasuturaga hammered there by the South Africans. Middle of the park now. Can Tawaki get away? Kavuru now marshalling the troops. She goes to the near side. Collected by Lomani. And the
Fiji managing to...
some... Yeah, go for it.
No, go. Play is still going.
Radini Yavuni struggling here to get any momentum, but the Springboks are looking like they might turn it over. No, referee saying offside, so we'll go back for the initial offside. So twice now the South Africans have been ill-disciplined in that way. Tap and go from the Fijians. I've not seen this many tap and goes in a very long time, but backing their running rugby are the Fijians. South Africa, are they able to turn it over? They've had some hard work here, have the South Africans. The ball was there for it, and I think the referee maybe had missed out on that one. Jordan trying to rush the Fijians as they move. Cut back inside from Donu. Hands it off to her partner. Rus wrapping her up in the tackle there. Great bit of work from South Africa. Rus keeping Ravisa quiet. Driving towards the far side touchline. South Africa being told, you have the ball now. So Fiji, stay there, don't move. Kicked away for Webb, by Webb rather. Into the hands of a Fijian. Now some space for the Fijians to get forward. Cutting across field here. Brought down, but some support there from Ravisa. Kavuru, again, all over this game. Good bit of work there by the South Africans to try and turn it over, but equally as good from the Fijians. Bit of fumbling there as the ball bobbled out from the back of the ruck. 67 minutes gone. Aseza Hele picks it up out of nowhere and she was on her way. My word. That was against the run of play. Hele brought down just shy of the 10-meter line. South Africa with the pick and go. Once again. Tosa looking for Janssen van Rensburg out wide. She hands out once, hands out two. Can she find her way through? She's brought down. And she's been thrown out. So Libby Janssen van Rensburg with nearly 40 meters worth of gain there, but lobbed into touch, or rather marshaled into touch. But great bit of awareness there from Torse to find her number 10.
Oh, that was a very good run there by Libby Janssen van Rensburg, handing off two players, and then the cover defense coming through for Fiji, brought down, and her foot goes into touch as she tries to keep the ball alive. And it will be a line out to Fiji on the far side of the field. Time is off. It's 14 points all, 67 minutes gone in this match. So 13 minutes to go. Who is going to blink first? And I just wanted to mention that in this last few minutes, Fiji have been really physical, matching the South Africans at the breakdown. Good clean-out work, but South Africa managing to steal the ball as Fiji seems to be stuck on this 7 style of play where they just insist on taking the quick taps. That last penalty that they tapped was just outside the 22 in the middle of the park. And with the scores level, with a tight game like this, I would have been pulling my hair out the little bit that I have left if I were their coach, because they could have easily gone for 3 there, get in front, control the game. But this does not seem to be in Fiji's makeup at all. They just want to keep on playing front foot rugby, as Hindi said. And now it's a break in play here as the players take a breather.
Asezahele gets some treatment there from the medic team, that's why.
Ah, okay. Yeah, she was she made a run down the field, and she had the Rosalia, the number 3, hanging onto her shirt, and then another player coming in to tackle her, so maybe went over on an ankle there or a knee or something. So I hope she's okay to continue, because she's been a star for South Africa so far. She seems to be up on her feet, joining the team's huddle. And so we'll have play continue in a few moments.
Springboks on 3, or do you think like winning on 3? I'd love to know what these, what the players, in their huddle say. Do you just say excellence or you... Right? So 67 minutes. And the clock is back
Looks
on.
like
So
it could be a quick walker.
Maybe. Right, Fijians with their own feed to this line-out. Tawake with the throw. And she finds the jumper, number 20, Adivi Tagaloa. Rosalia finds her way over the 22. Can somebody stop her? They do. Now, quick hands through the ruck and tackle region are the Fijians. Kavuru. I feel like I've said her name a lot today. She's just been a part of every single moment. Fiji with a handoff there. Good bit of work there from Davor. And the wing runs out of space. Sokowaisa just running out of room on that right-hand touchline. She could have been a for away for the try line. Wow.
Oh, desperate tackle there by, I think that was Tose. And then the number 14 for Fiji trying to make the pass inside, but it went forward and over the line as well. She stepped on the line. So Springbok throwing with this, the replacement hooker, and she throws this into the line out. Ooh, lucky to get away with that one. Looked a bit skew.
Caught by Mkachulwa. Brought down with Tose now directing things just inside of the South African half. Jordan. Into contact. Go the South Africans. On the halfway line now. Tose. Interrupted. She with a dummy throw and she goes herself, but there's no support at the ruck and tackle region, which means Fiji are able to contest. Door is shut though by the South Africans. Picked up there as it bowled out from the back of the ruck. 5 phases now for the Springboks. Pick and drive now. Truck and trailer type stuff. Hele with support. And the Fijians constantly being told, you go back. Tose not able to move quickly. And the South Africans hang on as we head towards the final 10 minutes. Otto.
Yeah, there was another quick tap attempt there, but the Fijian player there tripping over a South African on the ground who didn't move at all. So Fiji go for the line-out option on the near side of the field this time. And it's line-out to Fiji on the 10-meter line of South Africa. 10 minutes to go. 14 points all. And we wait in anticipation to see who is going to come out on top. As the number 16 for Fiji throws it to the front of the line out. Good take there, down to the scrum half. Down the back line, the ball goes, and it's over the 10-meter line. Seatbelt tackle by the number 7 of South Africa will give Fiji a penalty advantage. They're over the 10-meter line now. The number 16 goes forward, up to the 22. She's tackled by Tose. The Kavuru, the number 9, with the ball to the middle of the field where the forwards rumble it up. Over the 22 now. They go and wonder if there is still advantage to Fiji. Yes, says the referee, nothing doing there. So they'll come back for the high tackle or the dangerous tackle by Fiji. And that was number 7, Kachulwa, that conceded the penalty there. 9 minutes to go, 14 points all, and Fiji now calming things down. And again with the kick to the near side touchline. They'll have a line out about 6-7 meters inside the South African 22. They didn't have a choice, of course, with a quick tap there because the referee called them back after there was not sufficient advantage. So we see a very calm Fijian. Yeah, the next score will probably win it. It's been difficult for both the teams in the past 20 minutes or so to get ascendancy, to gain an advantage. Zane Jordan there. She's now the most capped player for South Africa with 35 caps in the number 22 jersey. And playing in her 3rd World Cup, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep, she played in 2017 and she also played in 2012's World Cup and not 2017, sorry, we missed that one. She played in 2012 and 2010.
So Fiji with the advantage as there was a knock-on in the tackle by South Africa. They're in the middle of the park now into the 22. Tackle calls the referee. The number 9 sends it to the near side of the park. The number 8 for Fiji with the basketball pass. And there's numbers here for Fiji, but she's brought down 6 meters short of the South African try line. Ball bobbles out. And the referee says there's no advantage for the knock-on. She'll call them back for the scrum. And South Africa can be very glad that Fiji have matched them in terms of mistakes because this is now the 3rd or 4th time in this half that Fiji have made a mistake on attack, and they also fluffed a few tries in the first half. So very scrappy game, but evenly matched, I would say, in the scrappiness at least. 8 minutes to play. Fiji will have the put into the scrum 15 meters from the near side touchline, just inside the South African 22. And there's a South African player getting some attention. It's Bottas, Rosaline Bottas, the number 16, who's got a knock to the head. And
blood injury over there. But looking at how far South Africa has come in the last 2 years, in terms of our rugby, we have really come a long way, and the girls have really gelled. And we have found combinations of players that work well together, and it has shown in this match. We're not a professional side. We don't have as much rugby as our international counterparts, such as your France and your England, who play Six Nations rugby. And given that being said, I think we have done relatively well. And congratulations to Zane Jordan, who has been playing since for a very long time, and she made a debut in 2009.
Yes, no, that's absolutely right, Indy, and especially in that match against France, South Africa were in it up until about 12 minutes, 10 minutes to go, and then France just ran away with it. So I was really proud of the ladies in that match as well. They managed to keep themselves in the hunt, and then the score just blew out in the last 10 or so minutes. Fiji with a put into the scrum. It's a better scrum by Fiji this time. It's quickly brought out into the hands of the number 12 in the middle of the park, crossing the 22-meter line. Back it goes now to the far side of the park. Down the line it goes, and the move breaks down just outside the 22 there as Fiji recycle, and Rosalie goes forward once again. This time South Africa managed to bring her down. It's a penalty advantage to Fiji. They play with an advantage now, going forward into the 22, to the middle of the park they go. Once again to the near side they come, and it's it's number 16 replacement hooker going down in the 22. Nice control of the ball at the ruck by Fiji. Still a penalty advantage. Kavuru with the ball coming to the near side, changes direction, does the number 16, who's brought down now in front of the posts, 10 meters out from the South African try line. Kavuru at the back there, the number 9 for Fiji. The ball is passed into the hands of a backline player who knocks it on, and the referee says they'll have the advantage, the penalty. They'll come back. The dangerous tackle by South Africa will be penalized with 6 minutes to play, and the penalty will be awarded to Fiji on the 15-meter line, about 4 or 5 meters inside the South African 22. South Africa under huge pressure now. Definitely a good call here by Fiji. They will go for goal. They will go for posts with 6 minutes to play, and the score at 14 all. As I said, some scrappy rugby. South Africa definitely not playing at their best. I did not manage to watch Fiji's game last week, but they were absolutely hammered by England. Was it England who well, they were badly beaten in their first game. That must have been England, because we played against France.
It was England. England.
So the penalty kick is shanked to the left by Kavuru. It will be a 22 dropout to South Africa, and a lucky escape for the ladies in green. Let's see what they can do with this kickoff. Libby Janse van Rensburg sends it flying way down into the Fijian territory. Nadine Roos is there on the 10-meter line of Fiji, and she's contesting for the ball. Did she manage to turn it over? No, Fiji have control of it. 5 meters from the far side touchline. They go to the middle of the park over their own 10-meter line now. Kavuru, the number 9, into the hands of that lady number 3, Rosalie. Kavuru once again caught in possession now at the back of the ruck for Fiji, and it's a turnover to South Africa. Have Fiji managed to control it? No, good counter ruck by South Africa, and they will surely have control of the ball now, as the South Africans now rumble it forward, and there's a penalty advantage for South Africa. Fiji going off their feet at the breakdown. Pick and go by the number 17 to the blind side. Tose, the number 9 replacement, to the near side they go now. The ball is passed wayward, but cleaned up by Webb, and she's got a little bit of space. Beats the first tackler, is brought down in the middle of the park. inside the 10-meter line now of Fiji. The ball comes to the near side into the hands of Mabenge, the number 14 for South Africa, over the 22-meter line, 5 meters from the near side touchline. Tose down the back line to Janssen van Rensburg. Some forwards in the back line now, rumbling it up. It's the captain, boy, number 4 for South Africa. Tose to the far side. Libby Janssen van Rensburg breaks the first tackle, and she's brought down just outside the 22. Now South Africa retaining possession here, crucially, with 14 versus 14 is the score. 4 minutes to play, and it's a penalty to South Africa on the 15-meter line, just outside the 22. Will South Africa go for goal? And somebody's pointing to the posts there. Hopefully it's the captain. There's 5 minutes left. There's 3 minutes left to play. Libby Janssen van Rensburg is a little bit winded. They're going to go for the goal. They're going to go for the goal. You can't tackle a penalty, as Nos Botha famously keeps saying. So South Africa with a chance to take the lead with 3 minutes to play. 14 points all. And Libby Janssen van Rensburg has got some winded issues there. She's going to try and work through that. Suck her up and walk her off, Libby. Come on. 2.5 minutes to go. The coaches cannot watch. The coach cannot watch. He's pacing around at the back of the box. He cannot watch. And we'll keep watching and tell you what's going on. So here we go. Libby Janssen van Rensburg. She's recovered from the windedness that she's experienced. She steps back, lines this up, and she comes forward, still lining it up. Steps forward now and strikes it with the right foot, and it is over. It's 17 points to 14 with 2 minutes to play. Libby Janssen van Rensburg high-fiving her teammates as she runs back to face the kickoff by Fiji. They've got 90 seconds, 100 seconds, do Fiji, to try and get the lead back. They've been in the lead for most of this game. I think this is the first time that South Africa have actually taken the lead. It's tapped back and into the hands of a Fijian forward, going forward just outside the 22 of South Africa. Rosalie, the big number 3, rumbles over the 22. Nobody wants to touch her. She's into the 22 of South Africa. She hands it off to the number 5. And there's players over the ball there, but South Africa penalized. And it's a quick tap once again by Fiji. It's the number 8. She's going into the goal line area. She gets the try for Fiji. And it is heartbreak for South Africa. The number 8, Naisewa for Fiji, Karolaini Naisewa, has the try for Fiji with 40 seconds left, 45 seconds left. Fiji lead 19 points to 17. South Africa led for about, 40 seconds before Fiji just came storming back. And it was Rosalie, the number 3 for Fiji, that set that up, just absolutely dismissing all the defenders in front of her. And South Africa penalized, and then just taking another quick tap, playing to their strengths. And the number 8, Naisewa, sealing the deal for Fiji right under the posts. They're going to have the kickoff, and time is running out. 3, 2, 1, and that's it. Fiji will win this game. 19 points to 17 now with the kick to come. And what a performance by Fiji in this last 2 minutes.
Simply goes to show, once the adrenaline gets pumping and you really, really want it, you really, really get it. And also the South Africans, I feel, did very, very well in this match, given that they've never played against a side like Fiji. But we do know that the rugby in the Pacific nations is bigger than the rugby that we have in South Africa. We are a developing and growing nation, so the ladies can be very proud of themselves and their performance today. And congratulations to Fiji for playing sevens rugby in a 15 setup.
Yes, and they made it work. And they made it work.
Rugby. they made it work. Their scrums were not the strongest scrums that I've seen, but obviously, given the bigger girls and their sort of athletic ability to carry over 19 kgs of yourself and run with the ball and run over 3 or 4 players is absolutely fantastic. I must give it to you. Rosalie, the number 3, who is a fantastic tight head prop. Not taking away from the Fijians. Well done for their performance today. And congratulations to the lady Springboks, who have worked absolutely hard throughout this tournament and worked hard to get to where they are.
No, absolutely right there, Hindi. Thank you so much for all your insights during the game. We'll have a few thoughts still, but before we do that, let me just remind you that the best way to support us is to listen. So thank you very much to everybody who listened to our broadcast today. Remember, we will bring you the match between South Africa and England. That's going to be rough for us to watch, no doubt. Maybe the South African ladies can do what they did against France and at least make it a contest for 60, 70 minutes and maybe spring a surprise. So we'll be on air next weekend. Not entirely sure when that kickoff will happen, but subscribe to our YouTube. 6:45 on Sunday morning or Saturday.
Yes, sir. Sunday.
Sunday morning. Same time. So subscribe to our YouTube channel. Make sure you switch on the notifications, and you will know exactly when we go live with our live podcasts as well. Once again, thank you for listening. Thank you for all the comments coming through. And go to patreon.com/OneWorldSR if you want to support us. You can also advertise on our channels. We are looking for sponsors for the Men's Cricket World Cup and for all of the cricket matches this season. Send your details to admin@onewsr.com if you want to advertise with us, or indeed if you want to join our commentary team, you can send your details through to admin@onewsr.com, and we'll be glad to give you a chance to be on the air, to be a semi-professional commentator here with us on One World Sports Radio. Final thoughts? Who wants to go first?
Yeah, I don't mind going first. I think Hindi's frozen, but South Africa, from jubilation to desperation and then commiseration, because it was a great bit of work there from the Fijians with, like you said, not much time left on the clock. They were determined. They made sure that they won the kickoff and just using their strengths. Great bit of performance from them. South Africa will be disappointed with the number of handling errors as well as some of the disciplinary issues that they have encountered. They want to turn around their performance and certainly give the English ladies, the Roses, a run for their money next week, Sunday. So positives for the South Africans, but well done to the Fijians for their excellent performance today.
As Maria Hoselovoni says, Fiji won. Yes, indeed, they did. And what a thriller it was. So if you didn't manage to catch all the action with us, it'll be definitely worth a listen, especially the last 5 or so minutes. Hindi, your final thoughts? I think Hindi is still shocked. Oh, there we go. Here we go. Hindi.
Yeah, I am still a little
She might still be frozen, but yeah, I think she was.
I must give it to both nations in terms of developing sides and all being
technology being a challenge. But yes. Thank you for joining us for this broadcast. We will be back with you next week, Sunday, 6:45 a.m. kickoff, where we live a little bit sooner before that. But thank you to the awesome team for today. Otto Simon, Hindi Jordan, and myself, David Midgley. It has been a pleasure to be alongside you for this second game of South Africa's journey at Rugby World Cup 2021 in brackets 2022. Please subscribe, support us on Patreon, and we cannot wait to see you next weekend. Ciao.
Bye-bye.